Okay, so I just started doing the exhaust side, but I wanted to do a little bit of before, and we'll show you after. Okay, so here is the after. And I mean, that turned out really, really well. So I actually even took that wire brush, because I got it up on here by accident a couple of times, and then I felt it. It is so smooth. The only place that it's rough at all is where there was some pitting. But where there isn't, I mean, it's as smooth as, if not smoother than that. I'm not gonna use it on this, but I figured where the exhaust gaskets go, I could try it, and I mean, it's really, really well. So, and I think that head turned out really well. So, you know, hot tanking it for 3 hours, you know, each half. Then I just took a brass brush and got as much off as I could. And then I used the Dremel with a brass wheel on it and just polished the rest of it up. And I think it came out excellent. So I am not going to bring that anywhere to have it cleaned. I mean, all my surfaces are really smooth. What I'll have to do is I'll probably power wash it, maybe. Air dry it, blow it dry with the air from the compressor. And then it should be ready to go in. A little bit of deposits still in my exhaust ports. I might throw some brake cleaner in there and try to get in there, maybe, I don't know, with a toothbrush or something like that to try to do it. Actually, on my exhaust ports also, I use that brass wheel to get in there and just kind of get some of the deposits off. But I don't know if you can kind of see down in there, especially around the valve stems, which I didn't get anywhere near with that Dremel in that thing. You can still see there's kind of some deposits right at those valve stems. So that's what I'm talking about. But that's very minimal as well. So I'm happy. It took hours. I bet you I spent probably 7-8 hours, you know, not including tank time. But 7 or 8 hours on this head, scraping and sanding and dremeling and brushing and using razor blades. So total, what is that? About probably 15 razor blades I went through. So I bought my 100 box of razor blades, because I still have the cam tower to do. So I think I'll do the same thing on the cam tower, since this worked out really well. And then I've got to clean the block off where the head goes still. And then I've got to try to get that bolt out. So that'll be the next step. Okay, so I've now measured to make sure that the head is not warped. 0.08 millimeter, and you're kind of hard for me to, but basically I went around the whole engine, or the whole head, different angles, up, down, and then all the way across as well. So I don't believe that head is warped, so I don't think it needs to be decked. So yeah, so that is good. All right, so we got the cam tower down. We're going to start cleaning this. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to hot tank this, just because of being on the inside. Might pressure wash it a little bit, and then I'm going to clean it up with some steel brushes and everything on the outside, because most of the gasket is off. I put some gasket remover just for the little pieces that were a little stubborn. So instead of grinding away with the razor blade, put that on, and that tends to work pretty well. It's just this Permatex gasket remover. I put it on, leave it on for 30 minutes is what I do. So while I am waiting, I thought I would go through. I got a ton of parts in. So we'll start over here. So this is the new thermo switch for the vacuum lines that go on the head. I still have to clean that up. I think I'm going to hot tank this. I'm just going to put this in. I might even put this in. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to put that in a thing of evaporust. Is what I think I'm going to put that in, because that's pretty nasty. But I figured it was only a few bucks. Might as well switch it while I'm here. The whole point is getting this car back up and running, but not having to trace and find things later on. Second set of parts are new bolts for here. So this one actually came out. This is the one that's still sitting in the head. I have been dumping PB Blaster and actually evaporust down into the screw hole on the head for about 3 weeks now, hopefully, and knocking on it with a hammer, just trying to wake it up a little bit, because if you remember, it snapped off. So this is a new one of these. Where did I get these from? Bolt Depot. So according to Brent, and I verified someone else bought them and said that these were them. These are not in the shop manual. They're not in the Haynes manual. It's like Porsche forgot about these two bolts when they made the manuals. So this is the long one, which is this one. And then this is the shorter one, which is this one. So there's your sizes for those. And then you'll remember this all started because the lousy cam and hub were bad with the Woodruff key, because this was the triple square bolt or whatever was in there was all loose. It wasn't even tightened down. It was all stripped out. So thank you, Elliot Grafton at 944 Barn, for these replacement parts as well. There you go. There's a little shout out to you. All right. The next is my oil cooler housing. So I've got my alignment tool. I've got new O-rings for the oil pressure relief valve. I got my gasket set for this. And then also from 944 Barn, I went ahead and got the 6R housing as well. So thank you again, Elliot, for that as well. Okay, so then next, remember in my earlier videos, I had that T for the vacuum lines in. And it was really kind of difficult to get the intake manifold on with that T. The fact that it came out and it was straight. So I went ahead and got this, which is the Y. And I'm going to replace that. And I think it'll be easier to get the vacuum lines back on with it. Got everything for my valves, my lapping tool, my Prussian blue, because I know I stated I was replacing the intake valves, but I don't think they're bad. I've got to make sure that they're straight, and that's what the Prussian blue is for. I tried to order new ones. Everybody was out of them, so I didn't necessarily need new intake valves. So I'm hoping that those are still good. I'll double check those. I've got my lapping compound and my grinding compound, and then my lapping tool. And I will seat those valves and make those measurements. I still have to go to Harbor Freight and get my dial gauge so I can check my valve stems as well. Then in here is the what did they call this? This is the ignition lock part. So in my earlier video, remember, I took it apart and there was the plastic inside that all broke off and crumbled in my hand when I took it off. You can't buy just the inside. At least I couldn't find it. So I ended up having to buy a new one. It wasn't that much. I think it was like 20 bucks. And then also a new ignition switch as well. So I'll just replace that, and that wasn't that expensive either. And then the big one is my head gasket set came in. So lots of stuff coming in. Lots of parts. And and then also my new exhaust valves came in as well. So I've got to get the cam tower cleaned up. I still have to check my springs to make sure that they are square. I will do that as well. And then I think I am going to actually drop the whole exhaust. I dropped it to get everything out, the head out and all that. But it didn't fully come out of the car. But I think I'm going to, because then I'm going to grind it down. They're all rusty and everything. I'm going to grind it down, clean them up, paint them, and make those look nice as well. Because once again, I'm spending all this time in here. Might as well make it look nice. Everything that's going back on the car is going to look better than when it came off. So, yeah. All right. Okay, so right now I'm just checking my valve springs to make sure that those are square. And so far I'm on my, 5th spring, and all of them have been square so far. So we'll just keep going with that. But yeah, you just want to make sure that they're square and not bent.